homeopathic educator, and I know that you are going to love taking this course. We are going to be walking through and giving you the tools on how to utilize homeopathy for yourself, your family, and even your animals. And my goal is to help you get in the driver's seat of your health so that you can reduce your reliance on big medical options, big pharma, reducing your need for pharmaceuticals if they be prescribed or over the counter. And basically, I want you to live a full and favored life, that you're healthy, and that you are enjoying our time here. We all know that this body is temporal, that this is our temple is here for a short period of time, but while we are here, we want to treat it as well as we can. We want to bring it back into balance and bring it into health. So I always say health is your wealth, and I want you to come on this journey with me and learn this with me. I want to break it down to make it really easy for you, because it is possible. You don't have to go to school for 4 years to understand these concepts and to start using this for your family and learning to even help, other friends or whoever it may be. So, um, in this course, we are going to be learning about what homeopathy is. I'm going to walk you through what types of issues you can use with homeopathy. I can break it down for you to make it really easy. I want you to look at the resources that I'm going to provide. I'm going to provide lots of pharmacies that you can use, books and kits that you can purchase, and what I recommend that if you want to make your own kit, how you can set that up and do that for yourself. I want you to understand the concepts of homeopathy and also what it can do, because a lot of times it's so undervalued. These homeopathy, if you see these in the store, these little blue bottles, this is just one example of one pharmacy that makes them. Um, it may have a word on here. For example, this is phosphorus 30, and it may say relieves dizziness and headaches. But did you know phosphorus can be used for so much more? This can be used for nosebleeds. I use this to help my husband with coughs. I mean, there's a whole myriad of issues that phosphorus can help. So I want to help you break these down and learn how to use them. These are so inexpensive. These are under $10 in the store, and you can get these from your natural food store. You can order them online. I'm going to give you pharmacy links and teach you how to order and use this. There's even combination remedies. For example, this one's made by Boron. This is Allergy Calm, that can help be a starting point if you need various issues taken care of, like they have sinus calm, cold calm, sleep calm, that will help you as you are walking on this journey. We're going to walk through cell salts, which are my favorite. There's 12 cell salts. I'm going to help you with protocols and learn how to research on your own and figure out protocols that can help your family with acute issues as well as chronic issues that are ongoing, if it be chronic pain or even something like a learning disability. We're going to be talking about, I'm going to tell you about some real world examples of people that I've seen that homeopathy has helped. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm actually originally from New Mexico, and I grew up in a very rural, beautiful area in the mountains. And when I was young, I started having issues where I ended up having pneumonia as a young child. I was hospitalized for it. And then I always felt like I had a low immune system. I would get sick all the time, it seemed like. I mean, several times a year, it seemed like. And a lot of times we would go to the doctor and they would give me antibiotics. What I didn't realize is the antibiotics were just suppressing what was going on in my body. It wasn't allowing me to heal, because a few months later I would pop up and get bronchitis again or another cold, and I would get these terrible, painful coughs. And for years, up through my 30s, I was on antibiotics on a regular basis. So I kind of say it like the Ferris wheel. You know, I go up, I take my antibiotics, then go back down and start over again. And once I decided to look at getting pregnant, I realized maybe I shouldn't be on antibiotics all the time. Maybe this could harm a future baby. I wasn't thinking about myself. So let me just tell you a little bit about my journey. So when I was younger, my sister had a violin teacher who came to our house, and she had all sorts of animals, horses, and I remember she had rabbits. But anyway, she shared with us about homeopathy, and she encouraged my mom to get a homeopathic kit and a book. And so my mom went ahead and invested in that. And so this wonderful homeopathic kit sat on our kitchen counter with a book. So it was before internet. We didn't have people to go talk to about what this was. And every once in a while, I would start feeling sick or have some kind of issue. And so I'd go look in the book and see if I could try something. So I would try something. But I didn't know how to dose it properly. I didn't know. I just didn't understand all the concepts of homeopathy. I just kind of try it, pop a few in, and see what would happen, right? And sometimes it would help. And other times I didn't know to dose it enough, so it didn't help. I was like, wow, that didn't work. Um, so fast forward years later, I ended up moving to Germany, and I lived in England and Germany. And when I was in Germany, I got sick with the same upper respiratory issues and went to the German doctors. And I told him, I said, okay, I need my antibiotics. And the doctor there told me, he said, guess what? We don't give antibiotics for just a cold. He thought I was crazy. And I said, well, you don't understand. I get sick all the time. I need these. I was working full time. I was doing my master's, and I was traveling a lot. And I said, well, I need these to be able to travel, and I don't have time to take off of work. And he said, nope, I'm not going to give this to you. Instead, he gave me homeopathy, and I have no idea what he gave me. It could have been a combination remedy. It could have been just one remedy. I don't know. But I was really upset and angry because I didn't think it was going to work. I thought this natural medicine is not going to work, and I tried to explain it to him. I wanted to complain to somebody, but I didn't know who to complain to, and I didn't have much time. So I headed back to work. I gave what I took what he gave me, and within a day or two, guess what? I wasn't sick. But instead of learning my lesson, when I came back to the U.S., I just went back on that antibiotic roller coaster again, right? And so, like I said, once I started looking at having kids, I started to realize maybe I shouldn't be on this all the time. So I started looking into natural medicine and remedies because I didn't want to take all of the allergy medicine. I would go every so often to Walgreens or CVS and just fill up all my allergy medicine and all the medication I was taking over the counter. And I realized, wow, maybe I shouldn't be taking all this if I'm going to get pregnant or while I'm pregnant. So I started doing research, and I found there are other options. I don't have to just go to the local pharmacy and buy what they have on the shelf. And what happened further is I ended up having a daughter that was born, and within the first few weeks she had acid reflux. So right away they put her on medication and they told me she's going to probably be on this for the rest of her life, at least till she's 7 to 10 years old. Well, I was not happy about that. So she was on that. She was, had all sorts of issues at that point, which God has healed her from. But she was going to all sorts of therapies. We had respiratory issues with her, and physical issues. So we were really concerned. And so I started diving into research and trying to figure out what is going on. I mean, she's only having breast milk. Why is she dealing with this issue? What can we do? I started learning about the pesticides and the chemicals and the toxic soup that we're in, right? And how to start removing that. I mean, like taking away cleaners and using non-toxic cleaners, making my own laundry soap and dish soap and those kinds of issues, dishwasher fluid and all of that. So I started trying to figure out how to help heal her, giving her, when she could start eating, what kind of food I was going to give her, to kind of help her. She couldn't eat very much, and most of it didn't stay down. So what I got into her body, I wanted wanted it to be as nutrient dense as possible. So we started walking down that road, and then so I started looking at, herbal and essential oils, and I always tell everybody essential oils are wonderful. I love them, but once I learned homeopathy, they could target exactly what I needed. For example, with allergies, I could put all sorts of essential oils and it might help me when I'm in the room with the diffuser, or if I put it onto my skin or whatever topically. But once the essential oil had worn off, or I wasn't around the diffuser, I went outside to go take care of my animals. Suddenly, all I was sneezing again, right? So I needed something that was going to help me with what was actually going on and heal my body, not just take care of it. So, what I learned is that in 2019, I had a friend that was going to do a homeopathy class, and I said, "Oh my goodness, I am too busy." I was teaching classes for various days for kids and leading various groups, and I just thought my schedule was too busy. And so all of a sudden, I felt like I was praying about it, and the Lord said, "Nope, you need to make time and you need to take this class." And so, as you know, what happened in 2020 is, as I was taking these classes, I wasn't very serious about it. I honestly didn't even read the book. I didn't study. I ordered the cheapest homeopathic kit that I could get, thinking at least I'll have something, and so I can kind of practice a little bit. But I don't want to spend a lot of money on this because I don't know if it's really going to work. Well, all of a sudden in March, COVID hit, and my husband was actually struggling with COVID symptoms, and I started calling around and trying to get some remedies that I needed for him, and they were out. They carried that remedy, but they were out because people were going and buying all this. And so I suddenly realized, oh my goodness, if we can't go to the doctor, if we can't go to the hospital, what are we going to do? I have got to learn this. So by that time, everything had mostly shut down. I was teaching, trying to teach kids online on Zoom, which is not easy to do. And so I just started spending hours just studying and ordering and figuring out what we needed. Like, if we had this issue, what would I need? What would I buy? So anyway, fast forward, we were talking about my mom having that homeopathic kit. So I started doing research, and I learned that there's a way to increase your immune system. So I started taking Calcarea carbonica 200 every other day for about 9 weeks. And all of a sudden, the allergy issues that I had dealt with my whole life since I was a kid — my dad sold firewood, we burned with wood in our home, and it caused a lot of allergies for me. We had a lot of juniper where we were, and I was allergic to the pollen. All of a sudden, my immune system went back into balance, and I can't say I don't have allergies because I still sneeze, I still blow my nose sometimes, but the allergies greatly reduced. And I have not had an upper respiratory infection. I will have where I start to get colds, I guess stays in my head, stuffy nose or whatever, but not gone down to my chest since that time. And I've not had to be on antibiotics. We have not used hardly any, I don't think, any conventional medicine since 2019. And so that's been a huge savings for our family. We rarely need to go to the doctor. The time we do go to the doctor is because we need paperwork filled out for physicals, for camps, or scouting events, or whatever it might be. But normally, we've gone years where we haven't needed to even go. And same thing with vets. We rarely need to go to the vet now because I can treat so much for our animals at home. So anyway, what was really sad is that remedy — it was in a 30 though, the Calcarea carbonica — was on my mom's counter for all those years. We did not know how to use it effectively. So I spent years spending money, going on medication that I didn't need, days out sick from work, spending money going to doctors, pharmaceuticals, whatever. And if I would have known that information, that remedy was sitting there right there on my mom's kitchen counter. But I didn't have that information or knowledge. So, like I said, you can have, you know, 500 of these sitting around, but if you don't know how to use them properly, it doesn't do you any good. The same, I always say it's the same side as well. If you have all this knowledge, but you don't have your remedies handy, it's not going to do you any good, right? I can't tell you how many people say, oh, well, I'll just buy that later. I'll just buy a few for now, and then, you know, maybe when something comes up, I'll be able to run to the grocery store and go get it. Well, I'm going to tell you, most of the time, colds, sicknesses, injuries do not happen at convenient times. So most of the time they happen what? In the middle of the night, on the weekend, when you're out traveling, when you're out camping, right? That's when everything happens. So I want to teach you to be prepared, not scared. Because the huge part about utilizing homeopathy is the fear factor is going to come down. I was able to go into COVID. At first, I was very concerned. But once I started learning, wow, I have these tools. I have homeopathy. I can treat this. I can treat this cough. I can treat this fever. I can treat chills and aches and all these things and help it. I can help them walk through it. I have tools. I'm not helpless. Once you have that confidence, it changes your whole perspective. And that's what I want for you. I want you to know these remedies and to be able to use them and be able to reach out if you don't know exactly. And we're all here to help, and we're all here to learn together. Every time I teach a homeopathy class, I've taught these for several years, I always learn something new. And I love to learn from my students because a lot of times they're using something that I would have never thought of. Introduction that I need to say, this course is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. Always consult with a health practitioner if needed. If you're on any medication, prescribed medication, please work with your practitioner. Don't just quit anything, right? Just because you see it, oh, this might work for high blood pressure, doesn't mean you need to go quit your medication. It means you need to work and make sure that you're that you can do that. Also, do not ever hesitate to go to a medical facility if needed. If you have an emergency, or not even an emergency, a situation that's going on that's a chronic issue and you're not able to take care of it, please, I don't want you to ever think this information means that you should hesitate to go and get help. It's better to get that help if needed. Sometimes you can get that diagnosis. It's very helpful to get a diagnosis, especially when it comes to homeopathy. If you don't know, if you've got a child in a lot of pain, you don't know if it could be GERD or if it's appendicitis. You probably need to go get that figured out, right? And then you can decide if you want to go through what medical pharmaceuticals that they're recommending, or what diagnostics that they want to do. Diagnostics are great, but I also encourage people to be careful of that because sometimes they're overused and sometimes they can cause harm. So just when you go into that situation, if it is going to an ER or an urgent care, just weigh those situations and see what you need to do. So anyway, I'm so excited for you and for your journey. I want you to write down 3 to 5 goals that you have for your family. It could be that you want to improve the health of someone in your family that's struggling. It could be that you want to save a certain amount of money on your budget by learning this amazing medicine. Whatever it might be, I want you to write that down, and I want you to use that as kind of your guidepost for your why of doing this and taking this course. And I want you to go ahead and see if you can either put my book on your computer as we're going along or print it. I recommend printing it. I am definitely a notes person and I love to write, so you can take notes. I recommend that. But if you want to just keep it on a screen, I totally understand. Also, I highly encourage you to start a notebook, a 3-ring binder, and I'll show you mine later on, but a 3-ring thick binder of anything that you receive or learn about with homeopathy, so you can stick it in there and you have a resource to go to and your family can go to in case it's needed. So that way you're prepared, you've got your resources, you've got your notebook, and I'm going to give you other ideas for resources to purchase, for kits to purchase, how to utilize pharmacies, and all of that can all go in your notebook as needed. And as you're doing your own research, you might find infographics that are really helpful or protocols. Stick those in your notebook. If you need to, for example, like I try to keep an Excel sheet. I have that, I don't know how many pages of Excel sheets of protocols and ways to use homeopathy so that you can do a quick search. So whatever works for you, I suggest you start a system right now, and we're going to dive in. So we're going to stand, we're going to get up on this diving platform, walk out into the diving board, and we're going to get ready to jump in and learn about homeopathy so that you can come up, you can dive in and come up and start helping your family as needed. Thank you.